And storms for Alice Springs and Darwin heading for a top of 32 degrees. And it is time now for Nine's afternoon news.
Good afternoon. We start with breaking news in New South Wales. These exclusive pictures have just come into our Sydney newsroom of a grass fire threatening homes at Cessnock in the Hunter Valley north of the city. Now, the fast-moving blaze is around 20 hectares in size. It's burning out of control at Hart Road, Loxford. Our cameras are on the ground there with Fire and Rescue New South Wales, and they tell us that homes have been under threat. At least one firefighter has been treated for heat exhaustion. Now, these are the conditions that authorities feared today. At Cessnock, it's hit 40 degrees. That was at around 2 p.m. We will bring you more details and the latest information as it comes into our newsroom this afternoon. There are explosive allegations that Russia has salacious personal information on President-elect Donald Trump, and it's using that information to blackmail him. Peter Stefanovic has the details for us this afternoon. Pete, this comes just days before his inauguration.
It does come with something of a caveat, because while it is very rich in detail, this report, Donald Trump, as you would expect, he's hit back and says it's fake news. So it's all in the hands of the FBI. That's what he says there. Fake news, a total political witch hunt. It's all in the hands of the FBI at the moment. They're trying to determine the accuracy and the credibility of the report. It does show how close Donald Trump is with the Russian regime. So the report surmises that the Russian regime has been cultivating, supporting and assisting Trump for at least 5 years. Bearing in mind recently, Donald Trump said that he doesn't have a relationship at all. It goes on to say that Trump and his inner circle have accepted a regular flow of intelligence from the Kremlin on his Democratic and other political rivals. Trump's conduct, this is a big point in Moscow, has included perverted sexual acts which have been arranged and monitored by the FSB, which is Russia's federal police. And according to the leaked report, the FSB compromised him to sufficiently blackmail Donald Trump if they so wish to do so.
And I guess explosive allegations that the US media are running with, which is the pivotal point of all this as well. Pete,
exactly
thank you. And outgoing President Barack Obama has closed the books on his presidency today with a farewell speech in Chicago. It was an emotional farewell to a sold-out crowd, and Laura Turner has the story. Well, it's an anxious time for holidaymakers after Indonesian authorities banned Tiger Airways from taking off or landing in Bali. Lauren Barker joins us from Adelaide with the story. Lauren, many travellers, they got a pretty rude shock this morning. Take us through it. Lauren, we'll leave it there. Thank you. A 22-year-old white supremacist has been sentenced to death over a church massacre in the United States. Dylan Roof walked into the South Carolina church in 2015 and gunned down 9 parishioners who'd invited him to pray with them. 3 men have been injured in a stabbing at a home in Sydney's southwest. It's understood 2 men were arguing outside the Casula home just after 9 o'clock when a third man arrived. Police say a fight then broke out between the men and all 3 were left with cuts to their arms. 2 men are being treated in hospital for their injuries, while a third remains under police guard. Well, stay with us. Still to come in Nine's afternoon news. A summer of tragedies on our waterways takes a terrible new twist after the death of a little boy in Victoria. Also, 10-kilometre traffic delays in Sydney. What caused this summer holiday snarl? And playing party games with the Prince? Well, it's for a pretty good cause. A major investigation is underway in central Queensland, where a woman has been killed and 3 others injured when a light plane crashed on a remote beach. Nine's Emily Prain is at Bundaberg, where the pilot is being treated. An 8-year-old boy is drowned at Lake Hume in Victoria near the New South Wales border. The child was pulled from the water overnight just 10 minutes after he went missing from Kookaburra Point. Emergency crews tried to revive him, but he died at the scene. Prince William has kicked off his royal duties for the year with a visit to a shelter for young homeless people in London. The Duke of Cambridge toured the facility before taking part in a game of celebrity heads with some of the young residents. Well, still ahead in Nine's afternoon news, exclusive pictures, fire rips through a camper van. You won't believe what the owner was doing at the time. Plus, the sad reason why a community west of Sydney is cancelling its Anzac Day parade. And we'll tell you about the new superfood that could help in the fight against breast cancer. Let's return now to that developing fire emergency north of Sydney, and these are exclusive pictures of a grass fire threatening homes at Cessnock in the Hunter Valley. Now, the fast-moving blaze has already claimed 20 hectares at Hart Road, Loxford. A female firefighter was overcome by heat exhaustion. She was treated at the scene and taken by ambulance to hospital. Our cameras are on the ground there with Fire and Rescue New South Wales. They tell us homes have been under threat, and these are the conditions that authorities feared today. At Cessnock, it hit 40 degrees at 2 p.m. We will have more pictures across the afternoon and new information as it comes into our newsroom. Plenty more to come in Nine's afternoon news, including the film critics going gaga for La La Land. And how did this little girl end up dangling from a third-storey balcony? We'll show you that dramatic rescue next.
The other scam taking Aussie customers for a ride. How your account could be hacked hundreds of dollars for trips you didn't make. A current affair tonight.
Breaking news in Sydney now. Around 7,000 homes and businesses are without power in parts of the city's north and south. The main areas affected are Punchbowl, Bankstown, Narembeen and Pymble. Ausgrid technicians are working in those areas and they're trying to fix the problem. It is not the day you want to lose power though. Air conditioners and fans not working in 40-degree heat. Well, the true cost of smoking has been revealed in a new report by the World Health Organization. More than $1 trillion is spent worldwide every year on the habit and its side effects, which exceeds the annual global revenue from tobacco taxes. 6 million people die every year from smoking-related issues, and that number, it's expected to rise by more than a third by 2030. After its sweeping success at the Golden Globes, it seems romantic musical La La Land can do no wrong. The film has just been nominated for 11 awards at the BAFTAs, and it's spelling great success ahead of the Oscars next month. Okay, well, everyone's talking about the weather today, so let's check in with Livina Nixon. Hi, Lavinia. Summer's really in full swing, isn't it?
It sure is, Davina. Across the weekend, it was Adelaide and Melbourne sweltering. But of course, as we've seen, it's most of New South Wales and also parts of Queensland at the moment. But another summer weather event is the arrival of monsoonal troughs in the top end. We're seeing extraordinary rainfall totals, particularly for Queensland's tropical coast. Innisfail has collected a little under 900 millimetres, almost doubling the January average after just 11 days. Today, the heaviest falls have been just north of Townsville, and there are no signs of it clearing in the coming weeks, so we're going to see even bigger totals. But it has been a fairly mild day through the southeast. These highs directing cool southerly breezes across Victoria and just light breezes for Adelaide. But on the other side of it, warm northerlies are pushing down through the southwest, so Perth is also having a very hot spell. It reached 36, but there is a cool change coming. A maximum of just 24 for Melbourne, 26 in Adelaide, 22 in Hobart. Sydney has reached 38 and 42 at Penrith, 36 in Canberra, and of course that heat is set to continue, and I'll have all the forecasts a little later. Davina.
See you soon with some good news, hopefully, Lavinia. Thank you. Well, still to come on Nine's afternoon news, we will have the latest on the unfolding bushfire emergency north of Sydney. Plus, is the solution to Sydney's housing crisis right in front of our eyes? Why developers are snubbing vacant land lots. And coming up in sport, a star-studded lineup takes to the practice court ahead of the Aussie Open. And even more disruptions for the Dragons pre-season. We'll have that story coming up later in sport. Right now, though, here's a look at what's happening in tonight's news at 6. Let's get the latest now on that unfolding fire emergency in the New South Wales Hunter region. An out-of-control blaze has burnt through 20 hectares of land at Cessnock. Our cameras are on the ground there with Fire and Rescue New South Wales. They tell us homes have been under threat, and these are the conditions that authorities feared today at Cessnock. It hit 40 degrees at 2 p.m. Okay, well, it's not to everyone's taste, but the humble chilli could hold the key to a breast cancer breakthrough. A compound in the spicy ingredient may stem the growth of tumours, as Kate Creedon explains. Yeah, the benefits are incredible, aren't they? Okay, time for sport with Julie. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, Davina. A busy one indeed, and Australia's one-day players are confident, if selected, Chris Lynn can be the man to help steer them to a victory over Pakistan. Dragons star Tyson Frizell has revealed he hasn't been able to return to full training as he battles an ongoing back complaint, which flared up at the end of Australia's Four Nations campaign. And FIFA will expand the World Cup to a staggering 48 teams from its current 32 as of 2026. Some European clubs and leading coaches say the move will drop the standard of the tournament and it will drag out too long. So there you have it, Davina. That is the afternoon sport. A big weekend coming up here in Sydney with the derbies as well.
You can't complain about being bored, can you?
No, not at all. Not this time of year.
Get out your scarf and have a good time. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. Well, developers and builders in Sydney have rejected suggestions they're taking too long to develop land despite thousands of hectares sitting idle. Eddie Meyer has the story. And that is where we leave our Gold Coast viewers. Your next news is coming up at 5:30. But for the rest of the country, stick around. More on the developing bushfire emergency north of Sydney. Also, all the details on the explosive new allegations surrounding Russia and Donald Trump as outgoing President Barack Obama delivers his final speech as president. Bad news if you're heading to Bali on Tiger Airlines. What you need to know about the latest service cancellations. Relief on the way, but when will it arrive in Sydney after temperatures hit 40 degrees? And the delicate rescue operation to save a little girl hanging from a third-storey balcony. But how on earth did she end up there? You're watching Nine's Afternoon News and these are our top stories. A bushfire emergency is developing north of Sydney. 20 hectares burnt out by flames that are threatening homes at Cessnock and Loxford in the New South Wales Hunter Valley. There are explosive allegations Russia has compromising and salacious information that's being used to blackmail Donald Trump, and it came as Barack Obama said goodbye, giving his final speech as US president. And hundreds stranded and travel plans thrown into chaos as Tiger Air is forced to ground flights to and from Bali. First to our unfolding fire emergency in the New South Wales Hunter region. A large blaze is burning out of control close to Cessnock. Nine's Gabrielle Boyle is at RFS headquarters for us this afternoon. Gabby, good afternoon. What more can you tell us? Let's hope that cool change tonight doesn't complicate things even more. Power outages across Sydney as well. We'll have the latest for Sydney viewers coming up at 6 o'clock tonight. Gabby, thank you. Well, as the United States prepares for a leadership change, President-elect Donald Trump is embroiled in a major scandal with claims Russia has compromising and personal information about him. Peter Stefanovic has the details this afternoon. Pete, they're damning allegations making headlines around the world. What can you tell us?
Yeah, damning's a pretty good way to describe it, Davina. These allegations, if they turn out to be true, and it's a pretty big if at the moment, but if they do turn out to be true, then it goes to show just how close the relationship is between Donald Trump and the Russian regime. It's definitely flies in the face of the other political story today that we saw out of the United States with Barack Obama saying farewell.
Absolutely, Pete. Thank you. And we do have the highlights of that. Outgoing President of the United States, Barack Obama, ended his chapter in office with a very emotional speech. Obama outlined the trials and triumphs of his 8 years, and he thanked his thousands of supporters and reaffirmed his belief in the power of change. Residents of a Melbourne street have been cleaning up after a burst hydrant created a lake flooding their front yards. Matt Smithson has a story for us this afternoon. Matt, some pretty unhappy residents today.
Well, that's right, Davina. Residents have described the torrent of water that came flowing down their quiet cul-de-sac after a car hit this hydrant in Melbourne's west. As you can see from the vision, water shooting metres into the air and coming down onto the street. The problem was there was nowhere for all that water to go because all 5 of the drains in the dead-end street had been blocked. But just residents quite thankful that the damage wasn't worse.
You're right about that. Matt, thank you. Still to come in Nine's Afternoon News, finance and the latest weather with Lavinia. And Lavinia, what's happening around the country tomorrow?
Hi, Davina. Well, unfortunately, no relief from the heat for some parts of New South Wales and Queensland, but it will cool down just here along the east coast, so a better day for Sydney. And Perth will also have a much cooler day after a very hot spell. I'll have all the forecasts for you next. Good afternoon, and for those of you in the hot spots around the country today, I hope you're managing to stay cool as possible. The hottest part of the country tomorrow will be in the northeastern corner of South Australia and southwestern Queensland, but parts of New South Wales are going to have to endure a stretch of extremely hot temperatures. Burke is set to hit 46 on Friday, and 39 is the lowest maximum in the 7-day forecast, so it's not going anywhere. But there's extensive rainfall set to develop tomorrow, and that will head east on Friday, so a very wet end to the working week, and that rain will extend north through New South Wales on Saturday, and it'll be hard to find a dry spot in Queensland, so there is plenty of rain on the way. But tomorrow, Sydney will be more than 10 degrees cooler, set to reach 27 degrees under cloudy skies. Brisbane is heading for a top of 34 degrees, and there's the chance of a light shower and thunderstorms in the west. And after 4 days in the 30s, Perth will cool off with a maximum of just 23 degrees. There's a chance of a light shower during the morning, but it'll be a mostly sunny afternoon. 33 degrees in Canberra, 25 in Hobart, the chance of thunderstorms in Darwin. So it's nothing if not interesting weather at the moment, Davina, but everyone take care in the heat, please.
Keeping you in the toes, Livina, thank you. To finance now, the All Ordinaries finished the day's trading 10 points higher, with the big miners and banks making gains. The Aussie dollar, it's also higher against the majors, worth 73.81 US cents, 60 British pence and 69 euro cents. And that is Nine's afternoon news. Our next bulletin is now coming up at 6 o'clock. I'm Davina Smith. Have a great evening. We hope to see you tomorrow.